Welcome in, everybody, and welcome to the Marshall Experience. Tonight, we are here for fantasy football, as always, and we couldn't be more excited. Tonight, we're going to talk about two specific running backs that I think could be beneficial to late-round drafters in terms of running back sleepers, right? Before we get into things tonight, we're gonna cover who we're powered by. Obviously, Sports Lounge Media, guys. If you have not gone and followed them on the social medias, you need to. It's a must. It's big things happening over here, and you're going to want to be a part of that journey, I promise you. And, of course, we thank our sponsors, the Mogul Brand and the Diamond Collection. Again, we have some product on the way. We have not necessarily received it yet, hopefully by Thursday's next episode, so be paying attention to that as well. So we're going to get right into it tonight. It's going to be not a lengthy episode, but, we're going to get deep into some things. So, what I'm going to talk about tonight is really for zero running back and hero running back drafters, okay? So what I mean by that is if you're loading up on wide receivers while drafting a Brock Bowers or a Trey McBride early, right, to lock in that tight end position, maybe a George Kittle, the running back is going to need attention, further down the draft, right? So that's where these running back sleepers for fantasy football come into play and help you round out your roster so that way you don't have any necessarily glaring weaknesses, right? You may not have a strength, but you won't have any glaring weaknesses that are going to hurt you come during the regular season, okay? First guy we're going to get into, and this name may not have even have been on your boards, guys, but these are kind of the guys that are going to do that, right? And Jordan Mason, he just signed with the Vikings. They somewhat solidified their running back room during the offseason, right? Aaron Jones landed a 2-year, $20 million extension, and then they agreed to terms with Jordan Mason in a 2-year, $12 million contract, okay? Mason was a waiver wire darling for some of last season, right? CMC went down, then Isaac Guerrero, and it was a messy San Francisco running back room last year. And now in a new environment, I really do like this 1-2 punch that the Vikings have going on. Injuries may have played a big role in Mason's 3-year breakout again with almost 800 yards and 3 touchdowns in 12 games. Again, CMC was down. He was forced. He also forced a missed tackle on the league-high 37% of his carries last season. Okay, now it's a minimum of 150 carries, so whoever's below that didn't count. But again, above minimum of 150 carries, 37% were broken tackles. Okay, that's according to Next Gen Stats. In weeks 1 through 8, before McCaffrey's return, Mason also led the NFL with 51 missed tackles forced. Hard to bring the guy down. I still believe that Jones has juice left in the tank, but it's never a bad idea to have some insurance behind a running back who's going to be 31 in December, right? Aaron Jones, we all know, misses games every year. He may not miss a lot, but it's a game here or a game here. He plays through injuries, but sometimes it's just a little bit too much. Okay, Jordan Mason is going to be that guy when he goes down this year. There also wasn't much productions behind Jones in 2024 either. Cam Akers only had 297, 3 yards shy of 300 on the year. Okay, that's compared to Jones's 1138. The Vikings, as an overall team, ranked 19th overall in rushing. Okay, Minnesota knew it needed to improve the run game for, the new-ish rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. And Mason, I think, has put them in the right direction of that. I like the idea of Mason complimenting Jones in the backfield. Again, I think they are two different players. We can expect Mason to be more of an early down grinder with Jones getting more of probably the pass-catching work, right? Mason can handle that physical role, and now the Vikings can hope that Jones can stay healthy now that his workload comes down, right, throughout the entire season as well. We can never expect injuries. Okay, we don't ever do that. We don't ever predict injuries. But right now, Mason not only has standalone value in fantasy, But if Jones were to go down, then he would have the upside of more touches in a solid offense. Okay. Down South said, taking notes. We are starting a sports lounge and media fantasy league, and I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure because all these guys are gonna, they're gonna take all my information. But hey, just remember, a magician never really reveals his true secrets. He also said Jones is a fantasy stud every year in Green Bay. Absolutely. Aaron Jones has been a consistent guy in fantasy, and I just, personally, I think that he's getting up there in age. He does miss games occasionally during the year, and to have that handcuff is never a bad idea. Okay. Next guy we're going to get into, Najee Harris for the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, we touched on that Cuddy system a long time ago. If you don't remember that, go back to the beginning of the episodes. That Cuddy system, that C and that durability, one of those D's, are probably the more important letters out of that Cuddy system, right? Okay. I actually really liked Najee Harris landing with the Los Angeles Chargers during free agency. Sorry, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. It's not us, it's you, right? I don't think J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards necessarily did anything wrong. It's just one of those breakups where it's not me, it's you. Okay. There's one thing everybody knows about Harris is, well, he's damn durable, right? There's that D. He has never missed a game and is coming off his fourth straight 1,000-yard season. Okay, knock on wood for Mr. Najee Harris. This feels like the season that, Greg Roman, the guy over there in Los Angeles, could finally get that running game he wanted last year to help out Justin Herbert. J.K. Dobbins went down with the injury. It kind of just washed itself out, right? Last season, it never really came together for either Edwards or Dobbins. They were the 24th in rushing. Okay, that needs to improve to help Justin Herbert out and to get Ladd McConkey open, right? The Chargers weren't done. Okay, during the draft, they get Amarion Hampton, but Harris will be reliable between the tackles. I can promise you that. Like the Seahawks, the Chargers still need more help on the interior of the offensive line, okay, in my opinion. The knock on the Chargers for Harris could be that they were only 22nd in running backs fantasy points, but could be attributed to the lack of running back involvement, right, in the passing game. Najee Harris had, if you go look at his stats, he had a couple games where he had some really good receiving stats. Okay. Najee Harris is an underrated receiving back, in my opinion. But I think that Amarion Hampton could possibly be that upgrade. So we'll be interesting to see how they utilize both of them in the passing game. Okay. But we still have to remember how solid Harris has been in the past. Okay. We talked about the missed tackle rate last year. Okay, he had a 24%, which was 8th highest among all running backs with 150-plus carries. And going into the 2025 season, Harris should be viewed as more of a low-end, probably running back 2, right? But those 0 running back drafters, you know what to do, baby. You know what to do. This is your guy. This is one of your guys, okay? The one of the guys that you get with your last 3 picks. Build your strengths elsewhere. I'm telling you guys, there's running backs in those deep rounds that could get you a week-to-week performance. Another guy that I kind of like is Braylon Allen. I think that Aaron Rodgers being in the Jets organization last year kind of hindered Braylon Allen. We all know that if it's not the Rodgers way, it's not it's just not happening. So in Pittsburgh, we'll find that out sooner or later this year. But I think that it was, even Breece Hall struggled. Breece Hall was a great young running back and had promise when he came into the league. I think that, maybe these two playing around Justin Fields, their offense kind of opening up a little bit. I think that Braylon Allen could be an interesting stash. Okay. Sometimes you have to go after these handcuffs because, say, hypothetically, that Breece Hall were to go down. Well, Breece Hall's handcuff would now be in free agency. Now you have to battle 10 other guys in your league for this one player because, well, if everybody's paying attention, everybody should be going after the next starting running back, right? So instead of having to fight them for it, getting players like Jordan Mason, Braylon Allen, people that are still going to be involved in the offense, but are waiting their turn, right? These aren't necessarily starters, but these are bench players. These are guys that are going to fill in the holes. Okay, guys, I appreciate you coming in tonight. Again, I said it was going to be a short one. We just wanted to cover some running backs that really could go deep into the late round, and we did that. So I hope everybody's been paying attention. I hope everybody's been taking notes, especially the Sports Lounge media. Going for that ring. You heard it here. Fantasy Guru is here. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody joining in tonight. Again, we thank you, the Sports Lounge media, and we thank the Mogul brand for doing the sponsorship. And we will see you guys on Thursday night.